Hey there, graphic designers. This is the second video for the selecting and masking tutorial. So we've already got our image selected over here. So now we're going to look at applying a mask and sort of refining this selection a little bit. So anytime that we have something selected and we're on one of these selection tools, aside from the new add and subtract, over here on the right, you're always going to see select and mask. So if we click on this, this is going to be a way to take and sort of fix up the selection, make it look a little bit better. You can see it's a little jagged around the edges here. There's maybe some parts missing. So we got tools on the left and we got a couple of options over here on the right. The first thing is up here at the top is how we're viewing it. So you can see that right now I got the checker background. We're sort of focused in on what we're looking at. I can change that to say if I want it just to be on a darker background. If I want to have just like the little marching ants around it, I can take and just do a black and white, which is a little weird for what we're doing. So usually I'll leave it on this onion skin is what they call it, that black and white, just so that this way we can sort of see what we're concentrating on here. We can set the transparency of the background so we could see a little bit if we wanted to, or remove it with that onion skin, which is nice. Now, the first thing that I would take and do once I got my sort of viewing set up would be with the global refinements right here, playing with the smoothing. Okay, right now we got that jagged edge. I'm going to smooth it out a little bit. You'll notice that as we smooth it, the details from around here take and begin to fade away. So we don't want all those details to go away, but we want it to be a little bit smoothed out. Now, once we've smoothed it out, we could come over here to the tools on the left. We have that. Get it to pop up here. It's not showing up, but this is the quick selection tool. And then this is a brush. There we go, quick selection. So I could come in here, and as long as I have that add, set my size to whatever I need it to be. This is a pretty small image, so I need that number pretty small here. But I could come in here, and it'll start to bring that back a little bit. Now, if I start to do it and I start to get some of that tan that's around the outside there, that's completely fine. I could switch over to like this brush, and if I hit the minus, whatever I go over will begin to disappear. So the same thing down here around the tail. So once we start smoothing things out, if things start to disappear, we can always play with some of these tools here to take and start bringing some of that detail back a little bit. Okay. Now, once I sort of got it smoothed out, I got some of the details back, it's looking nice. There are a few other options here. Feather will take and fade the edges a little bit. We don't really need to do that with this one because it's a smaller image. The quality is not the greatest. With some of the larger images, you might play with this feathering to fade the edges just a tiny bit. Contrast is one that'll come into play here, which is nice. Because I smoothed it out, we got some, nice edges, but they are still a little faded. Contrast is sort of the opposite of the feather. So instead of making it fade a little bit, that contrast will bring some of that detail around the outside back a little bit crisper. So you can sort of play with this and figure out at what point it sort of looks nice. We're trying not to have any jagged edges. We want it nice and smooth and clean. The last one here is shifting the edge. So that'll shift the edge of the selection so I can have it go outward a little bit, and you can see we got some of that tan that was in the background there. Or we could have it shift inward a little bit. So depending on your selection and what you're sort of getting, you can play with this to, like if there's like a little halo effect going around your selection to get rid of that. This one's pretty good here, so I'm just going to leave that at 0. Now, once everything is selected and good, we're going to hit OK. You're not going to really see any change with the selection, but you know that it's made a change. But now we need to take and get rid of all of that extra information. So right down here, we're going to hit mask. And what that's going to do is it's going to take and throw a little side layer here with black and white. And you can see that anything that is white is still showing. Anything that is black is being hidden. So this is our sort of non-destructive way of getting rid of the background. So we haven't deleted it. We're literally just hiding it. Okay. So what I'm able to do is with this non-destructive editing with this layer mask here is, let's say that I messed up. So I bring this image over to somewhere else and I notice part of it's missing. I can take, and as long as I'm clicked on this layer mask here, and you can sort of see we could click on them back and forth. So I've chosen the layer mask. I could come in here with a brush. Let me make it a little bit larger just so we can see. And if I go white, it will bring that background back. If I switch it to black, we can hide part of it. Okay, so that's why it's our non-destructive editing. We didn't get rid of that background. We physically didn't delete it. All we've done is use this layer mask to take and hide what we had selected and not selected, okay? Now, one thing to be careful of is if you do put the layer mask on there, make sure that this background layer is turned off. A lot of times you guys will hit this layer mask button and you've done it correctly, but because the background layer is on, it looks like nothing happened, okay? So background layer's got to be off so that this way we can see exactly what's going on with this layer here, okay?